Hey folks, welcome in. I'm going to give everyone a quick second to get logged in here, and then we'll start the show. All right. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone, wherever you're joining us from today. Welcome to today's webinar, co-hosted by the New York Oracle User Group and Oracle partner Viscosity North America. We've got two awesome presenters for you today, co-hosting with us, so we're super excited about that. I don't know if we've ever had two presenters at once for you guys with NYOUG webinars. So super excited about that. Please, please, please take advantage of your Q&A chat box, not the generic chat, but the Q&A one. Those will go directly to our speakers today. So as you have questions, just drop them in there. They'll get to them as they can, whether it's during the session or afterwards. All right, today's webinar is live. It is recorded. You will get access to them through Orapub and through nyoug.org. All right, my name is Monica Lee. Hopefully most of you are familiar with me. I'm the marketing director here at Viscosity, and we are a full Oracle Stack consulting firm. I'll tell you a little more about us in a bit, but first I'm going to turn it over to Coleman, who's going to talk to us about NYOUG.
Thank you so much, Monica. So the New York Oracle Users Group, next slide, was formed in 1984, just a few years ago, for the exchange of ideas, assistance, and support among users of Oracle software products. Next slide, please. You can reach out to us at X, Meetup, LinkedIn, Facebook, and of course our website, nyoug.org. And of course, if anybody out there has suggestions for webinar, please submit it to our website or to, of course, Viscosity's website, and we'll make you part of an upcoming webinar. Thank you, Monica.
Awesome. Thank you, Coleman. So again, for those of you just joining us, it's a live webinar. Make sure you locate your Q&A field in your Zoom so you can ask our presenters questions today. I'm going to go over a little bit about viscosity real quick. All right, so let's go over here. Okay, so viscosity is built on these three main pillars: data, apps, and cloud or infrastructure. Across the bottom, you'll see services that we offer for all three pillars. So if you see anything here that speaks to your pain points or projects coming up where you could use a trusted advisor, please let me know. I'd love to connect you with some folks from my team who could help you guys out and see if we can alleviate some pressure and workload from you and your team. These are some of the books that we've written. I think altogether, we're probably around 30 books of our consulting staff, which is awesome. On this slide, you'll just see some of our consultants who represent our organization through the Oracle ACE program. If you're not familiar with the Oracle ACE program, go check it out. Maybe you're also wanting to become an ACE. These are folks that Oracle Corporation awards a tier of a title. There's 3 different tiers. And these folks basically go out and spread Oracle knowledge throughout conferences, publications, blogs, you name it, books, whatever it is that they can do to help users like you adopt Oracle technologies or have an easier time working through things. Okay. As of 2022, it's already been almost 2 full years. Orapub.com is now part of the Viscosity family. This is where you'll go to see all of our recordings of webinars as well as slide decks. We've also got training options there, and this is offered for DBAs to developers, so go check it out. It's basically our entire database of things we've been doing for years. So if you haven't gone there yet, make a free membership at orapub.com and you'll have access to a lot of different things. There are paid options as well. And I always recommend to people to ask your employer for reimbursement because it truly is just very affordable continued education. There are live virtual classes in there you can sign up for, a bunch of different things. We also customize training for you and your team based on specific topics. So if that interests you, let me know. And otherwise, I'm just going to wrap up showing you a couple of our little things here. Let me see if I can start this thing. We have something called Shane AI. This was developed by Craig Shalhamer, our applied scientist here, and our applied AI scientist here, and also the founder of AuraPub. But oh, I don't know how to start it. Anyways, it's normally a movie here, but basically, Shane AI is a great example of what we can create for your organization. Um, Shane basically is pulling data from all of our different publications, our webinars, any viscosity documentation. So it's primarily built around answering questions on Oracle performance. So check it out if you go into aurapub.com. Everyone has access to it, whether you're a free or a paid member. But it's just kind of fun to chat with Shane. He's got a very surfer persona. If you've ever met Craig Shalhammer, you might understand that. But yes, Shane AI, very, very cool. And then I also just wanted to show you a very, very quick, it's super sped up, so my apologies, but this is a little snippet of what Viscosity AI looks like. And I actually believe Marco, who's presenting today for us, is one of our consultants who's worked on this before. But Viscosity AI is a great way to get documents to data, get you in your organization capable of analyzing all of this data, making automated transactions, making sure your deliverables are on time and you're basically able to take all this legacy documentation, whether it's photos, paper, you name it. It even reads handwriting. So it's very, very cool. So I just wanted to show that off today. But if you have any other questions about it, I can talk to you more in depth. But otherwise, I'm going to turn this back over to Coleman to kind of kick us off and introduce our speakers for the day. Please go to events.viscosityna.com or NYOUG.com to sign up for more of our webinars coming up. We do have an awesome hands-on lab coming up towards the end of the month with the Oracle Apex project management team. So more info on that, but you can go check it out right now at one of our landing pages. All right, Coleman, all yours.
Thank you, Monica. So Marco is a seasoned software architect of Viscosity North America, recognized for his expertise in Oracle, SQL, Java, HTML, and JavaScript. With over 8 years at Viscosity, Marco has demonstrated exceptional technical leadership, advancing from a consulting architect in Guatemala to his current role in Houston, Texas. His strategic insight is reinforced by an MBA from Universidad San Pablo de Guatemala, and a Master of Science in Artificial Intelligence from Universidad de La Rioja. Marco has made significant contributions to the Oracle community, particularly through his work as a university professor and speaker. He has taught courses on integrated cloud solutions, advanced programming, and expert systems in AI, mentoring the next generation of tech professionals. His dedication to education extends to speaking engagements, such as his 3 sessions at Kscope this year, Revolutionizing Oracle Apex UI UX, Enhancing Accounts Payable with Apex, and Revolutionary Recruitment with AI and OCR. So just one more thing, I just want to go into that October 22nd, we're going to have a joint webinar with Viscosity, Postgres SQL replication. And as Monica mentioned before, on October 29th, we're going to have a HOL lab, build an innovative Q&A interface by generative AI, and that's going to be an HOL lab. We're excited about it. Look on the website now because you'll be able to get information as to what the preparation will be. And again, I want to thank our co-host Viscosity for these last 4 years of webinars, and we look forward to more to come. Thank you, Monica. Monica, you're on mute.
Oh, you're good. Kristhal, Marco, you guys are ready to go.
All right. Um, So, hey, my name is Marco Pereira. Thank you, Cole, for not saying my last name. Thank you for really trying before, but you'll get it eventually. I'm gonna talk a little bit just about Kristhal. Kristhal is a software engineer as well. She has a master's in UI UX, so she's a fantastic person to showcase the revolutionizing of Oracle UI UX template directives that we're going to be doing today. Kristhal, do you want to talk a little bit about yourself before we start?
Sure. Nice to meet you all. My name is Kristhal Meng. I have six years of experience using Oracle Apex, and I have a master's degree in UI UX design. So that's what I like the most. I like to create new components and to create applications based on the user experience. That's why we have this presentation today, and we are going to show you how can you create a good user experience into your Oracle Apex applications.
Fantastic. Do you want to share your screen so we can get started? I'm gonna give you a brief introduction of what we're gonna do today. We're gonna do an overview of Oracle Apex. We're gonna talk about the importance of UI UX in the application development. And from this session, what you can expect is we're going to give you an introduction to template directives. We're going to give you a live UI UX makeover demonstration. We're going to be going step by step on how to create a template directive. And finally, we're going to work on AI-powered documentation techniques. It's mostly just prompt engineering introduction, very simple stuff you can just prompt engineer and teach your neural network to understand your application before you can start creating documentation on it. And of course, at the end, we're going to have a Q&A session. So for starters, Kristhal, can you tell me what are template directives in your own words?
What are template directives? I believe that template directives are a type of syntax created by Oracle Apex team to allow us to add conditionals to certain components. So this way, using HTML and CSS, we can show a different look based on the data that we are receiving. So template directives are changing the new Oracle Apex applications because we can use these conditionals to add CSS style into our HTML tags. We have different conditionals on the template directives. We have if, case, loop, and with and apply directives. And if you want to see more about it and about the documentation, I recommend to you to go to the Oracle Apex Universal Team documentation on this link. So they have a lot of documentation here. This is my best friend. When I'm creating new applications in Oracle Apex, I always use the universal team documentation, because if you can stick to the classes that they gave us in this website and documentation, it's going to be easier when you upgrade your applications.
Fantastic. So one of the benefits of using template directives is consistency, because you're going to be able to recreate over and over the template into your code and into your pages, so you can reuse it. And every time you change it, it's going to change across your entire application. You can also have dynamic content on it, query based and directive based. Once you're able to define those directives, you can have the content as dynamic as you can. And of course, this simplifies development. because having a customer that wants a high level of customization will require you to create this template so you accelerate development in the end, and you can create this multiple times across your entire application. So we're gonna go with the live demonstration and how to apply a template directive. We're gonna go on a step-by-step demonstration on how to apply the template directives. We're gonna do some real-time coding and design changes. We want it to be like very back and forth and an explanation of each step and its impact, but we also want to make it fun. So what we're gonna do is we created a little story for you. We created a very annoying customer that's gonna be very demanding. We're gonna call the customer Jerry, and Jerry has requested a project management application, and we needed to manage all the company projects. This must include everything from employees, project assignments, project updates, tasks, and comments. And of course, Jerry wants this before his meeting at noon. So I'm going to be Jerry, and Kristhal is going to be the developer, and I'm going to be asking all this to Kristhal. So Kristhal, can you please create the project management application for me before noon?
Oh my God, before noon? Okay, I'll do my best.
You can do it. I believe in you.
Okay. So can you see my screen on the Oracle Apex?
Yes, we can.
Application? Okay, so the first thing that we need for an application is create our objects on the database. So for this, I used some AI tools, and I generate the scripts to create all the tables that I need for this project management application. So as you can see here, I have the script to create all the tables. And I also create some scripts with AI for the insert statements. So after this, I create the application and I build a page with the projects. And the first thing that I did, it was just create a project grid based on the table. So I think we need right now that the Jerry request previously. So I think we're good to go. So you can say this page, we have the grid with the project's information. So we can go back to Jerry and see what he thinks.
Yes. I can see that you have created the projects page with all the employees, project assignments, project update pages, tasks, comments. Wow, Kristhal, you work so fast. You are awesome. But since I'm Jerry and I'm annoying and I'm very demanding, I'm gonna have a huge butt, and I'm gonna say, but I need a complete redesign of this. I want to see the logo on each row. I want to see those multi-line with a subtitle kind of things inside the query, inside the grid. I want to see an in progress or a status that looks very dynamic. So can you please do that for me?
Okay, yeah, I'm sure. I'm pretty sure that I can. Okay, so what I'm gonna do right now is show you how you can apply some template directives into a grid, into an interactive grid to create, this one, to create another style as Jerry requests. So on this page, under your interactive grid, you can go over your columns, and on those columns, you can select the type of HTML expression. So this can allow you to add some HTML and some template directives on it. So what I want to show you right now is that you can add some HTML inside of this column. And as you can see here, I have this class, uFlex. So as I mentioned before, you have the universal theme documentation, and over the layout modifiers, let me see if it's here or in content. You have CSS classes. So you can apply these ones. As you can see here, I have the uFlex here. So my recommendation to you is just always use the classes that the universal team has for you, because when they upgrade the team, you don't need to apply those classes after and do a lot of changes on your application, because they already took care of that. So if you can stick around those classes, you're good to go. So I create this HTML with some classes, and here is the template directive. So I'm using the template directive conditional if. So I'm checking if the project logo column, that it's the image about the image with the logo, has data on it. So I'm gonna show the div with the image on there. And also for the project name and for the project company description, that's the same. So I'm using an if conditional. If the project name has data on it, I'm gonna show a div with the project name. And you can use a conditional else. So if you want to show something by default, in case the project name doesn't have any value. But I'm going back to the documentation, so you can see here, if you are not familiar with the template directive syntax, you have an example here. Here is the if directive. So you can see on the evaluation what this means in the token modifiers. So when you are using just the item name, this is checking if exists and is true. If you use the equal symbol before the item name, this is checking if it's not false, if it's not false. So here in the documentation, you can see how the template directives works. For example, for case directives, you have another syntax for the loop and for the with and apply directives. So right now what I'm doing is just adding this template directives with the conditional if for those columns. I'm saving this, and I'm also changing the status column. Same, you need to change the type to HTML expression. And here you can add your conditionals. In this case, I'm checking if the status has value, and I'm using the conditional case to check the value of the status. So when the value is in progress, I'm showing this, I'm showing a different icon. So for this in progress, I'm showing this battery icon. When it's planning, I'm using another type of icon. And when it's other value, I'm using another icon. And the same with the classes. I'm using a different classes to show a different color text. And the same thing that I mentioned before. These classes are from the universal team documentation. So you can see here, you success text, you can find those on the reference and color and status modifiers here. Look, this is the success text class. to make the color text green. So I'm gonna save this, and ta-da, we have a new look inside of our interactive grid. As you can see here, you can show the logo, the name, the company description, and the status. It's different for each value. So I'm going back with Jerry. We have a new version, Jerry. I don't know what you think about this.
Looks amazing. I loved how you took advantage of the template directives to make everything dynamic, not only to not paint HTML stuff when it's not needed, but also to keep the logic separated from the query, like you did in the status. So that way you can dynamically paint the colors of success, that you're also leveraging universal theme classes to keep this application supported throughout the years. So I appreciate all that. It's amazing. However, since I'm Jerry, I'm gonna say that it looks too apexy. I don't know if you've ever heard that. It's actually a real thing that a client said to me once. It's a client from California. They apparently hate Apex, but they got stuck with it. We had to make an application for them, but they just didn't want it to look like Apex at all. So they would say it looks too Apexy and would send it back to me. So I'm going to say that it looks too Apexy. So I want another visual representation that doesn't look like a list or like a table. So Kristhal, can you do that for me?
Okay, I'm gonna try. Okay, so right now I'm gonna change this interactive grid as Jerry doesn't like it. And I'm gonna use another type of region. Maybe we can use cards. Okay, so what I did here was change this interactive grid region type to cards. So I just switch the interactive grid to cards, and I keep the same query. It's just pulling the data from the table. And I also changed some attributes under the card region to make this appearance better. So I changed the layout to grid and showed this grid on 3 columns. Also, I apply the columns under each section, like the title. I choose the project name for subtitle, the project company for body, project description, and for icon and badge, I select the image URL. In the image URL, I have this image from the application static files. So I think that's all that we need right now for this example. So let's see how it looks. Here, this is a classic standard card from the Oracle Apex. So we have the logo here, the title, the subtitle, and the description. That's all what we have. And that's under the attributes on the region card type. Okay, let's see what Jerry thinks.
Looks fantastic. It's a stepping out of the list view. But since I'm Jerry, I just need more things. I want a custom progress bar that looks that goes across it and below the card that tells me the status of each project, not only the data there, but I want to see a progress bar that grows within the same in the time frame that grows on depending on the status of the project.
Okay, I have an idea for that. I think we can use template components. But I need more time. So,
Can't have it.
okay, I think we can use some template components for this requirement. And what are template components? Oh my God. The template components are a big improvement for Apex. I think template components are one of the most powerful tools because they allow front-end developers to create powerful components. Meanwhile, backend developers can be happy and not worry about dealing with HTML, CSS, or JavaScript, because I know that before template components and template directives, some of the queries it used to have HTML embedded. So we don't need that anymore. We don't want to use that anymore. We have now template directives and template components, so we need to use those tools. The template components are reusable UI pieces that work like plugins and to the page designer, and they support actions, menus, and custom settings. This is amazing because it's easy to build flexible components, and you can use them as regions with one or many rows of data, or as a regions, or into the reports for columns. So I think we're going to use that, and are the most recent things that Oracle Apex has released on the new versions. So we're going to use that. So so the way that you need to create template components, it's under your shared components in your application and under plugins. Here you can create new template components. You can create it from scratch or as a copy of an existing one. And here under the type, you can select the option template component. That's the way that you can create them. Since I have created mine, I'm gonna open it and I'm going to show you how you can configure this and how can you apply the template directives. So you just need to put a name, and under the template, you need to select what type of the template do you want. So single, it's partial. So single, you are going to render this just one time, but on multiple, that it's report, you're going to render a lot of them based on your query. And region only, on this one, you don't need a query for that. You are just going to render that component as a region. So I'm gonna select single and multiple, as I'm gonna render a lot of cards. And here under your partial section is where you can add the HTML and the template directives for this. So right now, I'm going to show you. Here it's my HTML. So I'm creating some divs for the card. If you don't know how to start to creating this HTML structure, my advice is just go to the page, see some cards that you create before with the region card, that is the universal theme card, and inspect this HTML. You can inspect this. And with the inspector, you can see the HTML about this item here. And you can just edit this HTML and copy that to have some structure on it. And also you can have the classes that they already are using for these cards. So that's my advice. So here we have the structure of the HTML for the card. But what I'm doing here is under the header, I'm going to add an image on it that is the logo image. So for that, you can do it with some template directives that the Oracle Apex team created before. And I'm using this. This is with and apply. And let's go to the documentation. Under the template directives, we have this with and apply directive. So the description says, this directive allows predefined dynamic template to use in HTML expression. And they have here an example of how you can show an image with this template directive. So let's see. The type is image. You need to set under the image properties the URL of the image. You can have an alternative text, the size, the shape, and some classes if you want to add some. So here, that's what I have on my code. I have type image. Here, this is the URL of my image based on the column. I have the size, the shape, and the CSS classes. Okay. And I also add some if conditionals like title. I'm showing the title if this has value on it. Otherwise, I'm not showing anything. But I want you to see this. This says the syntaxes to show the value that we have on those columns from the query on our page. And those are called attributes here on your template components. So if you scroll down a little bit, you can see the custom attributes. And you can see here that I have title. Okay. Every time that you are creating your code here, your HTML, and you use this syntaxes for your attributes, you just need to do a synchronization later here. Synchronize from templates, and Oracle Apex just create all the attributes that you use on your code. So you don't need to create it manually. Okay, so I'm going back to the code, and here, so I'm just adding some if conditional, same for the title, same for the subtitle, and same for the description. It's just an if, it has value or not. And here is the HTML that I added for the progress bar. So I have a div class, and I have here on the span, I have the percentage that I want to show on this bar. This is based on the column that I have from the query. And the same, you can use these attributes inside of your HTML classes or style. So as you can see here, I'm using the property on the CSS style. I'm using the width, and I'm setting that value using my attribute. So you can do that. You can add the template components inside of the style or inside of the classes into your HTML. So that's pretty much what I did here. And other thing that I changed, it was the repo row. As I want to show this as cards, look the syntaxes, I'm using this tag, and I just copy that from here, from the inspector, because that's the classes and the tags that the universal team are using already. So I just copy this in here for each card, and for the report body, I'm using the UL tag that you can see here is the same that the universal team is using. Okay. As I mentioned before, you need to synchronize from templates your attributes, and on each attribute you have some settings on it. So you can change those settings if you need it, as the data types on the data, or you can set a default value, and you can set some conditionals on it. Like if you don't want to show some attribute depending on other one. And let me see what else. So that's for now. The template components has a lot of options right now. So you can add some positions, some actions into your template, and the slots. These slots allow to you to insert some other regions or items into your own template component. Okay, this is so important too. So you can add some files into your template components as CSS or JavaScript, depending if you want to add some actions and a style on your template component. So right now I'm using this. I create a file. The name is style draft, and you can create it from here if you click create file, or you can create it into your page static application files. So I'm gonna open this, and here is the CSS that I'm using that is custom. So I'm using some classes from the universal team, but I'm also using some custom CSS, and that custom CSS is in here into this file. So you can create some CSS files and add the classes that you want and the styles that you need. And you just need to copy this reference or the URL file and into your plugin. You just need to add the URL here on the files URL to load. If it's a CSS file, you need to add it in here. And if it's a JavaScript, you need to add it in this section. So I'm gonna save this. I'm going to show you on my page what I have now. So after create the template component, you can create a region, and the type of that region here is where you can select your template component. So you can select your template component here. You can add the query to use it on that template component. And under the attributes is where you need to set all the values to use on your template component. So as you can see here, we have all the attributes that we set and that we are using on our template component. So title, and subtitle, progress, image, and you can relate it to each column that you are getting from your SQL query. So that's pretty much the configuration on the template component. So let's see if Jerry have some thoughts about it. So Jerry, we have the new version of your page.
Fantastic. It looks amazing, but I want more. One more thing. I also want to be able to see how much time I have left under the same view. I also want to somehow you need to show me visually who is involved in the project. That way I can know who to contact quickly when we're in trouble. Can you add that?
Okay.
By the way, I'm loving all the questions. Just keep them coming. I'm trying to answer as we go.
Okay. So let's see what I have, what I can do right now. Okay. So as Jerry requested, the time and the users under the template component, I think I have an idea for it. So let's change a little bit our template component. And here. Okay. I create this HTML structure with the same template component that we use on the first page that we change, and this is the case statement with the status. So we are checking the same. If it's on time, we're showing some icon on it and some colors there. And for each value, we are showing something different. I mean, under the colors and icons. But here, I want to show you under the users. So we are going to show some avatars, but we know that they are, well, a lot of users involved on the project. It's not just one user. So for that, you can use this loop conditional. And if you can see here on the documentation, the loop directives can be used to repeat content once for each item in a multi-value character delimited. So you can set on your query what is your delimiter on the bar chart column, and with that setting, you can use it on your loop. So here I have the loop statement, and I use this character to separate each value that I'm gonna read there. And I'm using the same template that I use for the logo icon. I'm using the width and apply. So that's pretty much that I added right now to the new version. But I want to show you that I changed this on the page too. So here in the query, here is where you need to add your character delimiter here. So that's the way that we can just use the loop statement on the template directives, because we already have this on our query and on our data. So that's pretty much that we need to change in here. And the same, you need to set those attributes every time that you need that you change your template component and add some attributes on it. You need to go to the pages and just assign those columns for each attribute. You need to do that. So right now for the users, I have the user column setting on it, and for the time, we have the column time left. So this is the new style of the cards. I think it looks better. I think Jerry will like it. So Jerry, we have the new version.
Fantastic. Can you just wrap up the page with adding search filters and all that easy stuff?
Okay. I don't think that it is so easy stuff, but yeah, I can. Pretty sure that I can. There are some Q&A, Marco, so I don't know if you can answer the Apex version on it.
Yes, I've been answering on the chat. Everyone can see the answer too.
Can we get an export of this up?
Yes, we are. Yeah, wait until the end. We're going to show you a QR code so you can download it.
Okay, so the final version of the page. The easiest stuff that Jerry said. So what I did pretty much in here, it was just added a region, and a region that I called header. And there I create another three regions that are on the same row, just on a different column. And I added some search on it. You can use this item that is, I think it's a region. Yeah, it's a region type smart filters to add some search bars there. So you can use that to add some search. And I also add another region with some buttons on it for add project, select some settings, change the view between cards and list. That's pretty much that I have in here. This is just a static content type region with the template buttons container. I removed the UI decoration here, and I added some buttons here. I have some of them with just an icon on it, not text on it, just icon. And I have another one with text and icon, and I make it hot so you can see the color, the primary color on it. And here the icon for that button. And that's pretty much that I have in here. So let's see how it looks. Okay, so these are the three regions that I mentioned before. One with the project title, one with the search filters region type, and my buttons container. I also added the badges here, some tags with the quantity of the projects that we have on each status. So look, the query that we have on our template component are ordered by everything from the days that we have left to prioritize those that we are seeing first.
Looks amazing,
so
Kristhal.
I think it looks better than the first one.
Yes, it definitely looks different. It's a complete makeup of the entire application. And what we want to do now is we want to document this. We want to have the user experience and the explanation of how to navigate with this page, because we understand it's a little different. So we're going to leverage AI to create all this documentation. We're going to train something, an LLM, and see what we can do, creating help for pages, creating documentation on by screenshots. So on the next slide, we have a step-by-step process of using the AI documentation. We're going to show the template component, it help AI generated, interface help AI generated, and user documentation with AI generated. So Kristhal, could you help making the documentation, please?
No, Jerry, I think I'm done for today.
Of course. So as any developer, it'll leave without making the documentation, right? So I guess I'm going to take over now when I share my screen, and I'm going to have to do this myself. All right. So let me show you this. Since we are running out of time, I always like to start over documentation here and try going because it's always different when you talk to GPT. In this case, I'm going to use ChatGPT. In some other conferences, I've used Claude. It depends. It's up to you, whatever you like the most. I like Claude for documentation a little bit better because I believe it has it's a capability. It's a thing of, if you read how ChatGPT writes, it's a little robotic sometimes, but Claude is a little bit more natural. But ChatGPT can use coding a lot better, understands queries a lot better. So I use it. I use both on my daily basis. So what I did is I took a screenshot of the app and I sent it to ChatGPT, and I'm asking, what can you tell me about this app? So it's telling me it has a dashboard application designed for project management. It says it likely uses Oracle Apex template directives. So it even recognized that just by sending the screenshot, because you recognize that it's Oracle Apex, but it's recognizing also that this is not a component that is out of the box. And it took the title, the navigation bar, it's explaining everything that is here, the overview, the central section with multiple projects, and it's explaining each card at the level of the logo, project name, progress bar, days of the week, and even recognize the project members' avatars at the bottom of the card. It also has recognizing the filter options that Kristhal added at the end. It has search and add project, progress tracking, responsive layout, and seems to be, it's understanding what the app seems to be used for, and it got it exactly right. And is using template directives, which is a high level of customization in the Oracle Apex environment. So I told it, you're absolutely right. We are using template directives, and here's the code for the template directive we used. So this is me just having a conversation with the AI, because I'm training it. I'm giving it context of before I start asking questions and start demanding for stuff, right? So, and I am asking, make sense, just to see if it understands it. And it defined the entire code in here in pieces by piece, the card structure, the progress bar, time batch, and overall the template is well structured, cleanly separates concerns, uses Oracle Apex template directive effectively. So this is a good code, it is telling me. So Kristhal wrote a really good code, and the AI is recognizing it. I'm also giving it, for your reference, here are the attributes under the template. So it understands the settings, the appearance, the performance, so it knows what are the options for the developer on this case. And it's recognizing those. Of course, it's giving me everything is mapped to each of those. And it's suggesting it's empty. Not at the found is empty, but you can configure a custom message to be displayed when no projects are found. Instead of saying no data found, you can put your own message in here. It gives insights. It's recommending we enable lazy loading. And I also gave it, I said, thank you. Here's the region and the query I used for this example. So I'm giving it the region with all my options selected. I'm giving it the query that we used. You see, it's a little bit it's kind of custom, right? Like it's making a lot of calculations in here. It's very complex. So it said, thank you for providing the region settings in the query. And here's a breakdown. And it's analyzing the query now. It's doing how it's doing the calculation, the bar, the progress, the list aggregation, and is also recognizing the region settings, the enhancements, and recommending stuff, right? So I said, fantastic. Now that you know everything about the app, I Jerry made, let's create a few things first. I want to add help to the page. So please generate HTML content for the help page of this screen I sent you. This is help for the end user. So great. Based on the project management dashboard you created, here's the help, and it's generating HTML help content for the app. However, I see that it's using HTML, and I don't recommend you using these. You just stick to the divs and headers and stuff, because this might break the page. I've seen sometimes. So what I did is I can't use HTML tag or head or nor body. Simply use divs and list and ps and with the style inside. So it gave me a version of it, which I'm going to copy here, and I'm going to see, oops. I'm going to see, I want to update the page here, and I want to paste the help in here, save it, run it, and you can see the help is here, right? Then I just said to the AI, just for fun, add way more colorful help and way more styling, right? So just to see what this does, I'm going to replace this code for the new one, refresh, get the help, and you see that it created this horrible thing. It has colors. It's taking the colors from the screenshots. It's using this Shopify color green, and it's leveraging these. But this is where you get to play around with. You can give it a palette and use those colors only, and whatever you want, right? So even though it looks horrible, I don't want to hurt its feelings. And I said it looks beautiful. Now I want to specify the help for the plugin for the developer, right? The help text is used by the users on the plugin not to understand how it works. And it generated the help. And I read that it's doing the help with the data source, customization, SQL query requirements, and it's even giving me an example of the query. But I see it's too much. It's using the same query I gave it, right? So I said, looks okay. However, the query can be way much simpler. Like make it from dual, from same sample data. You don't have to make all the calculations that Kristhal made. And assume that you already have the data in a view, right? Also making HTML, no styling, just the box and texts, and the query with a different font. So I'm going to copy this, and now I want to head over to my plugin. I want to paste this help text in here. I see that it created some diffs. This is not something I like to put in here, so I'm going to remove the diffs. You can play around with this as much as you want. This is where it gets fun. Now I want to go edit the page, and any developer now that install this is going to be able to check the help in here. Like you see this component, it has how to use it, a query that you can just copy and paste in and start working your way through development. So this accelerates the development of the code because you have a query as a sample, and it's telling you how to customize it, the best practices, troubleshooting, and all that good stuff, right? So what I told it after, it's fantastic. Now I have to create a few documents. Let's start with the first document. One is user documentation, like the user guide for this. So it created content. Now that it knows what the application is about, it created the content for my document. And it's doing it in Markdown, right? So there's a way to do it from the Markdown, and you can copy here, upload it in Google Docs. Google Docs has a way to convert it, recognizes it, convert it, and download it as a docx, and then you have that way to do it. But now recently they have created this where you can just ask it to generate a docx version of it. So what it's going to do is just going to create a Python code that is going to generate a document for you. So when you click on the code on the link here, it'll generate a code. It'll execute this code, and it'll download the document. So I already had the document here that it generated. And you can see that it's this is the user guide that it created. It looks beautiful. It has all the titles, headings, and everything. So you can actually change the design on it. You can, and it's going to recognize everything in Word. So you can reuse templates. You know how companies will demand to have a template that they have created custom. This will recognize it. So, and it's coming directly from the AI. So now I want to make unit testing document, and it creates a unit testing document. It's telling me where to go on the screen, what to press, what to review, what to make sure, verify the project title and company appear on the name card, ensure the progress bar is visible, and it's the calculation, the percentage on the completion that is correct. It's verifying the status changes depending on the days of the project, delayed, less than 7, on time 8 to 30, more than 30 is good. And it's already assuming all that you can here customize. Then it generates a doc version of this, so you can download it by executing this Python code. And finally, you can, well, I did it. I want to create a printable document. It has a pass and fail space for the user, so you can just print and check and run your user testing that way. So when you download this, it looks like this. So this is documentation that's completely generated in AI within a few minutes, and then you can print this document and run as many tests as you can during your trials, during QA phase, and this is the stuff that usually developers don't like to work on, and this accelerates it by a lot. I know we're out of time, but I want to see Q&A, or want to try to answer some of the questions that are open. What option do we have to do to change version control? The version control, do you mean the work in progress thing that they have added recently? You create a working copy. Is this what you mean? Probably. You create a working copy and you're working, and this is just like GitHub. This is an amazing feature too, but it's not part of the presentation. We can probably do one about that. And an anonymous attendee is hurt his feelings. Yeah, you don't want to hurt the feelings of AI. Trust me. So let me see on the presentation. I have something for you. I want to give away the template component. So if you scan this barcode, if it is big enough, feel free to scan it. There's going to take you to a GitHub page where the template component is. And if you see the template component, if you navigate to this link, you will see that the template component has a README file. The README file has also been generated using AI, so it saves a lot of time using that as well. And it gives instructions on how to install it in your apps. So that's it for me, Monica. You want to take over, close it?
Sure, sounds great. I hope everyone had a great webinar today. I'm going to include that QR code in the follow-up email. So if you didn't catch it, you can have a second chance there to get to it. So we'll put the link in there as well. But otherwise, thank you guys so much. Coleman, thank you again for another great co-hosted webinar. Kristhal, Marco, thank you guys too. First time NYOUGers. I know Coleman feels bad he didn't find Kristal's bio.
I didn't find it, Kristhal. Let me shout out to you. Next time you give a webinar, you'll certainly be, your bio will certainly be on the top there. And I apologize again, Kristhal.
Yeah, don't worry.
It's okay. There wasn't enough time for hers with Marco's novel of a bio. Just kidding.
I'll make it short next time. Sorry.
Anyways, I needed a time for the template components.
There you
It's
go. Also, shout out to all of our attendees today. Great questions. And some of you guys are very funny. I was reading these laughing. But anyways, thank you guys again. Please remember to go to orapub.com or NYOUG to rewatch these webinars. As soon as this one's done rendering, we'll get it posted, and then we'll also grab any other resources that Kristhal and Marco want to share with you posted to that as well. Otherwise, we look forward to seeing you guys at the next NYOUG Viscosity webinar. And hopefully, if anyone's in Chicago, I hope you come out to my Midwest Oracle User Group and Chicago Oracle User Group Conference. We'll be there this Friday at Willis Tower in the Oracle office. So we'll see you guys around in person or digitally. Take care, everyone.
Thank you all.